Hey guys, it's Cameron again, and welcome to my brand new library. As most of you know, I just moved, and I have been in the process of getting this library all set up for the past several months, and it's finally done. Here it is, guys. Here is my library. Just going to pan across a little bit so you can see. And then over here is the door. I have an X-Men poster on the back of it. Above here, I have my quote that says, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light." It is by Albus Dumbledore. It's one of my favorite quotes. The lights that come on above there. There is my reading chair with my cozy pillow. The curtain kind of separates everything, so it makes it its own little reading nook. Holding the curtain back is this little Gryffindor pin, which is pretty cool. My table here, I have Game of Thrones on there, and then my little TARDIS pencil holder. Over here, I have my New Age kind of section. This is just research for my books and whatnot. Coming down here, New Age finishes off there, goes into my religion section. Coming on down, just some random non-fiction. My talking crypt keeper there because I love Tales from the Crypt. Right here is my film section. I have a Pikachu there. R.L. Stine autobiography, which should technically be up here. Down here I have some of my writing books. This starts my mystery section, so here I have all of my Sue Grafton books. Some Michael Connelly on that shelf. Some random fiction books. More random fiction. Here I have all my graphic novels. So I've got some Vault of Horror there, Lock and Key, East of West, We Stand on Guard, my Harry Potter Illustrated Edition because it wouldn't fit with my other Harry Potter books, some superhero stuff, DC, Marvel, just some random comics and magazines down there. More mystery up here, sorry for the glare. Some Agatha Christie, some of my cozy mysteries. More mystery, this is all mystery all through here. James Patterson down there. Not the biggest James Patterson fan, but I've picked up a lot of his books at book sales and yard sales. Janet Ivanovich down there. I have all of my nice leather-bound kind of books. My little Weeping Angel pop figure. Got my Nancy Drew lunchbox there. Got some Terry Pratchett with Fluffy guarding them. Right here I have my complete Sherlock Holmes. I splurged and spent way too much money on that, but it is a beautiful set. If any of you want to see it, a more in-depth video on that, I will certainly do it. Let's see, that right there is a Gryffindor CD case. I had that since I was a kid. I just thought it was really cool. I have this little plaque that my sister made for me. My mug with some bookmarks in it. This starts my fantasy section, adult fantasy. We've got some Brandon Sanderson. More fantasy. Lord of the Rings. My Game of Thrones box set. And this finishes off the adult fantasy section. And then this is kind of like my religious fiction shelf. Coconut Pirate there. My Left Behind books, Piggy Bank. These are my kind of adult humor books. This starts my horror section. So I've got, of course, Anne Rice. Random horror novels up here. A lot of Dean Koontz. All of my Stephen King hardcovers. More Stephen King. And more horror. This book right here, I will take a little bit of time to talk about this one. It's called I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. It's technically not a horror novel. It's actually more of a mystery thriller, psychological thing, but this book scared the crap out of me, and I can't help but categorize it as horror. That book is amazing. Very, very good. One of the best debuts I've read in a long time. Down here I have my science fiction stuff. My Lord of the Rings glass goblet that I got at Burger King years ago. Some more sci-fi, got some X-Files, Michael Crichton, Star Wars. This continues with my horror section. So I've got all my Stephen King paperbacks. Some random horror authors thrown in there. Down here, I have some of my old Zebra horror novels. Zebra was a really popular publisher in the 80s and 90s, and they still publish today, but it's mostly romance novels. But back in the 80s, they did some really cool horror stuff. So I have quite a few of those. They're very cheesy, trashy kind of books, but they're a lot of fun. So if you find any in a used bookstore, definitely pick them up. They're worth it. And they're also very hard to find nowadays. So I recommend picking them up just for that reason. Have some V.C. Andrews. Don't judge me. Some more random horror. Whole bunch more V.C. Andrews down here. And then right here finishes off with my V.C. Andrews. Goes into Charmed, Buffy, Angel. And then this starts my young adult section. So I've got a lot of point horror from the 90s. I really love these 90s horror books. These were really great. A lot of fun. I've got R.L. Stine, Fear Street. More Fear Street. Some of my old Christopher Pike books. Coming up here, finishes off with my 90s horror novels. Of course, got some Lois Duncan in there, so that's kind of like 70s and 80s too. Here I have some of my newer young adult horror. Some of the new R.L. Stine Fear Street books. The Dead House by Don Kurtagich, which also really scared me. Very good book. And I have a lot of my Darren Shan books here. Trying to collect all of his stuff. Some more random 90s horror novels. There are my pop figures there. Dracula and the Wolfman. They're pretty cute. And coming down here, some more young adult horror. Coming down, I've got some more here. All of my newer Christopher Pike books. Got a few down there. And this starts with my young adult fantasy section. So I'll just pan over so you guys can take a look. This is just a little break in the shelves. I thought it looked pretty nice. There's my Return of the Jedi poster. Some random knickknacks, diplomas. And got a Wolfman figure, Hermione. Coming up here is some young adult fantasy. And some more. I've got a lot of fantasy. So this finishes off with the young adult fantasy and then goes into young adult science fiction. Here I have my YA contemporary. So I've got some John Green, David Levithan, Rainbow Rowell. And that's the rest of my contemporary stuff. Just got a library mug there and then a random dragon book. Here I have young adult mystery. There isn't very much mystery in the young adult world, so there's not too much on that shelf. Some older mystery books. I have a Harry Potter board game with Hagrid and Harry just hanging out down there. This starts my middle grade stuff, so here's some of my old first edition Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys books. This is my Nancy Drew shrine, I guess you can say. More Nancy Drew. Older paperbacks back there. Those are also Nancy Drew. Hardy Boys. We've got some Hardy Boys in the back as well. These are some random mystery series from the 50s, 60s, and so on. Some more mystery. So I've got a series of unfortunate events. Really excited for that Netflix show. Cannot wait for that to start. More mystery. And then down here are some of my picture books from when I was a kid. Coming up here is my Harry Potter shelf. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which I actually liked. I know most people didn't. It's my Dumbledore pop figure, which is one of my favorites. Here are all of my middle grade fantasy books, and there is a ton of middle grade fantasy. I love middle grade fantasy because it's just so charming and magical. And then coming up here, I have my whiteboard, which is going to be a place to plot out my novels that I'm writing and short stories, but right now I'm just using it to post pictures and my work schedule and whatnot. I have a Hagrid statue there, my Mickey Mouse ears. Here's more middle grade fantasy, middle grade science fiction. So those are all my Animorphs books. Got some Animorphs, Transformers figures there and there. Some Animorphs right there. Star Wars little knick-knack thing, which is pretty weird but cool. Here I have some more science fiction. And I have candy stashed all over the place because that's just what I do. Here I have some ghost stories. And then coming down here I have some middle grade horror. Coming up is some middle grade, I guess you could say true ghost stories, quote unquote. Coming on down, these are more ghost stories, but these are fiction just made up by the authors. None of these are like folklore or anything. I have some of my Dear America books from when I was a kid. And my little Killian Hook pop figure, which is also one of my favorites. I have some random fiction classics. These are some of my middle grade humor novels. Got some Judy Blume. There's Harry Potter sitting on a rock because he is Harry Potter and he can sit on a rock if he wants to. There's my Elder Wand. And then these are some of my 3 through 4 easy chapter books. And then coming over here, these are like my Goosebumps kind of books. Oh, of course, there's my desk. That's where I do all of my writing and internet stuff. Got my Hogwarts acceptance letter there. Just some random books that I need to shelve. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.